Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories, love life next, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. Welcome to Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month, day 10 we're on today. So happy Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. If you didn't know what Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month is about, it's about celebrating our diversity across the asexual spectrum and our differences within it. And it was founded by me in 2017 when I wrote this Asexual Perspectives book to do just that. So today I'm reading from the book again. I'm talking about how difficult is it being asexual in a highly sexualized world. So I'm going to read a few excerpts from this book out, which is a few people's stories from the book. And the last one I really resonate with myself. So here goes. I've got a really good selection for you tonight. So it's Thylacine story. So how difficult is it for you to be asexual in a sexualized world? Just ignore the vulgar TV shows, read a book, live my own life, let other people do their own thing. So basically, they just get on with their own life and do their own thing. So Anne's story, on the other hand, is quite similar in some ways in the beginning. So how difficult is it for Anne to be asexual in a sexualized world? Anne answered this: I seem to be pretty oblivious to my surroundings. I felt a great deal of discomfort because I wasn't viewing things sexually as much as other people did, but didn't put the pieces together. I remember talking with a classmate about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, like the human need for food and shelter and fulfillment, and someone brought up needing sex. That made me openly scoff, and I got a few funny looks from it. Overall, I've always been socially inept for various reasons, and this just offers yet another explanation on why that is. Since I have plenty of oddball qualities already, it's not a huge deal. So yeah, that's like they're pretty oblivious to what's going on, but then it really kind of does cause them discomfort. Now, this is what I really resonated with, okay? So this is Juanita Redmond's story. How difficult is it for you to be asexual in a sexualized world? I find it quite confronting that I realize I'm not as interested as I should be and in what the world is telling me. I have been a bit of a chameleon in my life with this is not related to me, this bit. It's a bit later on. Because I'm very straight down the line. Everyone knows where they stand with me, and what you see is what you get with me. So I have been a bit of a chameleon in my life with a history of being great at the theatre and drama. I have this talent to match the energy of who is around me. So in my life, I have been very overt, especially when out drinking in clubs and bars. I have a few drinks and the music comes on and off I go. I throw my sexuality out there on the dance floor, and of course every sex addict in the place comes at me like a moth to the flame. And if someone doesn't get lucky and takes me home, my sexuality that I've shown on the dance floor does not translate into the bedroom. And that is a bit that's very similar to me, because I love dancing. I've actually got bronze in freestyle disco dancing, so absolutely adore dancing. I love going out, but I don't drink at all. I don't need to drink to have a great time dancing. I don't have any inhibitions. I just do what I want when I want. And but I can dance very sexily, you know, swing my hips, and the way I like to dance, I also love dirty dancing with a guy I'm aesthetically attracted to. So I like grinding and stuff like that, which is seen as very sexual in behavior. But you know, in the past, in the very, very past, long past, when I used to date sexual guys and I didn't know I was asexual, you know, I even danced with a guy in a nightclub and he ended up coming back to my place and ended up in my bed, which was weird. And I just was all the time saying, no, I'm not having sex. I'm not interested in sex. And I liked kissing him, but he was like, oh, you're driving me crazy, because he wanted sex after he was been kissing me for a little while. And I didn't want it. So, like, pretty much the majority of the night, I stayed awake with him just lying next to me sleeping, because it was just like, I didn't want anything to happen, you know. But I made it very clear, I am very, very strong person, a very strong girl. I've got good, strong muscles. I live in the middle of a shared house, so it's not like I'm completely on my own, you know. So that helps for safety. And you know, I just am very, very strong, you know. If I say no, most guys will listen to that, you know. And especially nowadays, when I am older and birth certificate age, you know, I am a lot more stronger now. I've got my own place here and just, you know, it's good. But it doesn't mean to say that I'm not, you know, vulnerable like everyone else is, you know. So you always have to be careful, you know. I haven't had a guy back to my place for a long time, you know, and especially since I found out I'm asexual, you know. I mean, you know what I mean? I did date a heterosexual guy for 2 months. And so that was a bit weird because he did stay over. And obviously I had a boyfriend this year and he stayed over, but we didn't have sex or anything like that. And they knew it was off the table from the beginning, you know. But I haven't gone out to any clubs and just picked, you know, just what they call picking up. You know, I haven't done that. I mean, it wasn't what I did anyway. You know, I really liked the guy, but he was no good, you know, because the guy who asked me out clubbing, I actually met him in the shop, but I really liked him at the time. And I used to go in the shop regularly. So I used to see him regularly in there before I agreed to go out with him, but on a date. But yeah, he wasn't a good guy in the end. I don't have anything to do with him. He's blocked face or unfriended anyway. But yeah, so I am very careful, you know. I probably only date if I do date a heterosexual guy, which I don't really want a heterosexual guy for a long-lasting relationship, you know, because they just can't live without the sex. But if I do, it's like once a year. Do you know what I mean? Usually. I say usually because I'd rather not date heterosexual guys. And in general, I just say no. There's no point, you know. But occasionally you get the one that says, "Oh, I can live without it," but you know that a lot of the time they can't, unfortunately. So anyway, I will carry on finishing Juanita's story. So this has been my biggest problem with being an asexual in a sexualized world. That just being me can be interpreted as coming on, or that I'm being flirty and I'm just playing with energy. I don't actually want to get my gear off. My sexuality really consists of dancing and kissing. And that is enough for me. And that's really, I would agree, that's what I'm like, you know. I absolutely adore kissing and I do love dancing. You know, that is really it for me. I just love those combinations, but I can't just kiss anyone. With me, I can't, even though I love kissing so much, I can't just kiss anyone. You know, you know, like I sometimes say I'm a kissing addict, but I'm not a kissing addict because I'm not addicted to just the kissing. If you know what I mean, I can't just go and get it from anyone or do it with anyone. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not kissing every day. You know, sometimes I kiss myself because I'm really kissing frustrated. I think it's good practice for when I do get with a right guy, you know. It's practice makes perfect, doesn't it? You know, practice on your arm may as well. And so do you know what I mean? I think it is good to practice these things so that you can get good when you're with a partner. Like, I don't like sloppy kissing. Like, I don't like being kissed like a lizard. I don't like, you know, like being kissed like a snake or something like that. I like proper controlled, nice kissing. But that person, Juanita, I really do relate to, because when guys see her on the dance floor, as she was explaining, they see her as this highly sexual being because of the way she likes to dance, the way she moves, the way she's got this energy about her. But that's all she wants to do, is to dance and to kiss. She doesn't, when she gets home, if the guy comes back to her home, she don't want sex with him. That's exactly like I am and I was years ago, because it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not interested in the sex. I don't know how else to describe. I'm just really not interested in sex. When I had it in the past, it was like the only time that was any good for me whatsoever was my last long-term ex, because he did other stuff, which meant that the whole being around the sex wasn't as boring. I mean, I was with this guy years ago, this guy, hot foreign guy. I mean, aesthetically was so hot looking, really aesthetically attractive. And he was really good looking, like one of the most stunningly beautiful facial features, foreign, really nice looking guy. He was good at cooking for me as well. But he just wanted sex. And I just got bored after about 3 weeks, I think it was. I was just bored out of my brain. I thought, I can't be doing this anymore. Fine, cook for me. That's great. I enjoy that. But the sex is just boring. I don't like it. It hurts. It's just like, ugh. I couldn't be in a relationship with him anymore. I had to just forget it and leave. Do you know what I mean? Tell him I can't be in a relationship. I was just too boring. I just can't be doing with it because I'm not interested in the sex itself. And this is the huge difference between asexuals and sexuals when we're having sex, especially for someone like me who's actually heteromantic and I have no sexual attraction whatsoever. I do tag on the acronym grey A, and a grey asexual or grey A is meant to mean someone who experiences sexual attraction under limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or who experiences it but not enough to want to act on it, and that isn't me. So technically, by technical black and white text terms, I'm not a grey A, but I don't feel comfortable just calling myself a heteromantic because I have the grey area, the fact I have huge arousal levels despite having no sexual attraction, and the fact and the way I like to kiss is very sexual behaviour, and that's why I feel that I've got these grey areas, and that's why I use grey A to mean grey areas, because it's like, I don't want to say I'm just a straight heteromantic, if you know what I mean, even though I am. So it's really difficult. It's like you're squashed between two, like I'm heteromantic 100%, but it's like, and hyper romantic, but it's like I'm not grey, I'm not actually textbook grey sexual. I don't experience any sexual attraction. So it's really, really difficult. And, I love kissing so much. And that's the only thing I really, really, really miss in a relationship is the kissing, if I'm honest. That's the only thing I really miss, because I'm a very self-contained unit. I can look after myself really well. I can pay my own bills. I don't like cooking, but of course I do cook for myself. I keep my budget down as much as possible. I've got good friends. I like doing, like working on my websites. I like writing. I like going out and self dates to the cinema. I like doing loads of stuff on my own. I'm a very self-contained unit, I am an extrovert, but I've got some introvert tendencies where I do spend a lot of time on my own doing stuff. And, I'm very happy and content with my life. I mean, I do feel I've got an asexual soulmate somewhere, and I think he's Indian for some reason. But, I'm really content with who I am in life, and I'm really content with my life. And I don't want anyone coming along to disrupt that and make me unhappy. Do you know what I mean? Because I deserve to be happy, just like every asexual person deserves to be happy in the world, And if I do get a partner, I want him to be very, very good guy for me, because I deserve a good guy, just like you deserve a good partner too, And it's really important, and I'm not interested in sex. I look back at it now. I was talking to one of my asexual friends via message, and I was saying, that foreign guy, I remember being his girlfriend. I loved his cooking, but I wasn't interested in sex. Many women who are sexual, heterosexual, they just want to have sex with these guys. They just look at them and want sex. I don't get that urge. I don't look at them. Yes, I adore kissing. I adore kissing because to me, it's like being 15. Like, I love to live like a teenager. I did enjoy that side of my teenager life, in birth certificate age as well. I like the passion of the kissing, because to me, it's just like fun and exciting and dopamine hit and, cute and stuff. But obviously I don't want, I don't really get attracted to older guys usually. Older guys just are not nice, really. A lot of the time it just like, I just can't be with an older guy in a relationship. I like a teenager style relationship permanently. I like a guy in his 20s, not a teenager. let's be right about this. I'm not after teenagers. I like a teenager style relationship, a guy in his 20s, ideally. But I like that type of relationship, where you're both young, energetic, you both have your own places, you both hang out with each other, you both chat, discuss things, go cinema, out for meals, walks, talk, have fun in life, and pay your own bills at your own place, do your own thing at your own place, study, do creative pursuits, encourage each other in creative pursuits, but be like besties ever friends, and cheek to cheek, and like, oh, let's do this together and let's take on the world together, and we're just so close, and I really hope I do get that with an asexual guy one day. There must be a younger guy out there for me. I know there's loads of asexual guys, and some of them are very lonely. And there's bound to be one foreign asexual guy somewhere who is Indian, who is different to the norm and the culture, because I don't fit in with the Indian culture. I don't want to be a housewife. I'm not interested in cooking, cleaning, or doing anything like that for a guy. But there's bound to be someone in the UK as well that's somewhere, this asexual guy. There's bound to be. One day he will show up, no doubt, and it'll be great, because I'm sure there is a really, really decent Indian guy who wants a serious, committed, asexual relationship. He doesn't need all the housewifey stuff, who can take really good care of himself, and who can be my bestest ever friend and love of my life, and who we can really share good times with, and who we can confide in each other on a deep and meaningful level, and who will know what he wants. I find that's one of the most difficult things being in the asexual community when you're looking for a relationship. Is most people, they say they want a serious relationship, but when it comes down to it, they don't. Some of them don't know what they want. They don't want the commitment. They don't want to put the time, energy, and effort into it. And it's like, do you know what I mean? A relationship is a full-time job. It should be an enjoyable job for the most part, but it's still another full-time job, And that's kind of like, again, like why I think it's good to be single as well, because I know I can create magic for myself, just like the fairy tales, just like the movies. I can do things in my life, like just going out to the cinema and watching a movie by myself, making myself feel great. I do feel this magic and this wonder about the cinema. I don't know what it is, but it's the whole experience. And like when I watched Spider-Man the other day, which I'm going to be doing a review on this channel about very soon, it was just incredible. I'm not going to go into it now because I want to do a separate review soon about that. But the whole atmosphere, and the superhero strength I got just from watching that movie is incredible. I felt reconnected to my soul, reconnected to my heart, reconnected to me. And now I'm back writing again as well. Now I'm doing my second asexual book. I feel so much better. I kind of thinking to myself, why didn't I start writing more books? Like the last book I wrote was June last year. Like, why wasn't I doing more books? Like, why wasn't I writing more? It's kind of like, because I was doing other things, I was working on other things, I had a lot of things going on last year, but I just feel so good to be writing again. I'm going through the interviewees' answers, we're editing them together gradually. There's more and more people I have to do. I have to kind of do them in batches of a couple of people at a time. I've been doing 3 at a time at the moment, because I've got to make sure that all the minute details are correct and they're phrased right so you can read them easily. I think this book is harder in editing terms than the last one, because you're dealing with very difficult, sort of like very delicate matters. It's very personal, and also you've got to try and be descriptive in a way that the reader will understand. But when the person was experiencing it and they're telling how it was, it can be harder for them to understand that some other people don't understand what they're saying. It's like when I write some things, I have to like reread it several times to think, can another person understand this? Because just because I can understand it doesn't mean to say someone else does, because I might not have filled them in on some of the details that I was meant to. So it's kind of like you've got to look at it from all angles. But being asexual, I think, is beautiful, but I do think it is hard if you're looking at the world outside. I think you really do need to be in your own world as an asexual. I mean, you need to acknowledge the outside world and live in it, but you also need your own world. I live in what I call my world of quirky. I have that domain name. And I've always been like that since before I even found out I was asexual. And it just feels so good, It feels so great to lead my own life, to be different to other people, to be different to the outside world. Like, if you come through the house I live in, there are other people that live in the house, and they've got very kind of like, how can I put it, generic kind of colours in their home, certain coloured carpet, certain coloured walls. It feels like a normal house. But then you come up through the house and you go into my flat and it just feels beautiful, you know. I've got all this vibrancy, this colour in the curtains. They're not my curtains, actually, they're the landlord's, but that's really nice. But all this other stuff's mine. Like, pretty much the majority of the furniture in the whole place are mine. Like, this bed's mine. See, you've got a beautiful Disney throw on here. I've got a Mickey, I've got cuddly toys, I've got really cute pictures, you know, with little animals, caricatures on there, you know. I've just got lots of bright and beautiful things, and it really makes me happy, you know. And I think environment is so important to your well-being, you know. And I think that when you go out into the world, you know, it can feel difficult sometimes. Like, I've mentioned on this channel before that I've been out with my highly sexual friends, and it's all right for a while, and then it gets to a point where sometimes it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, if I've got older guys, and they fancy me, I feel like they're perving on me, because I don't get attracted to older guys. I know that's a bit of contradiction, because I like younger guys and want them to be attracted to me who's older, but a lot of the time I don't look as old in birth certificate. I don't look like my birth certificate age. That's what I'm trying to say. I do look a lot younger a lot of the time. And so that's quite cool. And I'm not really like my birth certificate age. To me, it's just like a piece of paper. It's just there, you know. I can't change it, but it is what it is, you know. But I'm nothing like my birth certificate age. And, you know, when I get older guys, I'm just not attracted to older guys. And older guys, they come around me, they look at me, they fancy me. Some of them try to get close, and it's just like cringing. I'm just cringing, because these are sexual guys. I'm not interested in sex, right? And my best female friend who isn't asexual, I love to bits as a friend, you know. A lot of the people in her town are a lot older, you know. The guys are a lot older, and it's like, that would you, excuse me, you should be interested in. And it's just very for me, because, you know, if I was gonna have any sexual guy near me, I'd rather it be a younger guy, you know. I feel I can handle that better. I know what to do. I feel more comfortable and confident around it. I feel less grossed out by it. But I don't want sex anyway. But if I did have sex, it wouldn't be with an older guy. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want sex anyway, you know. But I feel better being closer to younger guys physically. If a younger guy comes near me, you know, it's not so bad. But if an older guy comes near me, I'm just so grossed out. And last time I was out, you know, it was really difficult for me, because, you know, it was just, you know, there was a guy who was chatting up my friend and her other friend. They were chatting him up, and he was married, and it got a bit kissy and sexualized. And it's not who I am, you know. It's not my soul. And it was so nice was it last weekend? Yeah, I think it was last week. Oh no, the weekend before last. That's right. Not this weekend just gone, but the weekend before. It was my, you know, asexual meetup, and it was so good to spend time with my asexual friends, you know. I think it's imperative, if you're asexual, to try and find some asexual to meet up with in person. You know, even if you don't go to an actual official meetup, meet up with some asexuals, because it just completely changes things, you know. I just feel so good to be around asexuals who don't want sex like me, who are not interested in it, and I feel really safe around them, you know, really happy, having fun. You know, we went out to the Breen theme park. Oh, I haven't put that on here yet. We watched the City show. That's really funny. So my friend said I could upload it, because he's in it as well. I have to take it off Facebook, because I upload it to Facebook, because I can't do live streaming here until I hit 1,000 subscribers from a mobile device anymore. So yeah, so I can live stream from there, so on here. But I had an amazing time. It was incredible. And, you know, it's just so good to be around asexuals who know and understand you, who value your worth, who are not into all this who's getting off with who's having sex with who's sleeping with who, you know, like, oh, I want him to sleep with me, I want him to sleep with me. It just gets a bit much after a while. I have to appreciate, you know, that people aren't like me a lot of the time. You know, they're sexual. A lot of the people love sex, and I don't have a problem with their loving sex. I do personally not think it's good to have sex with someone who's married and supposed to be in a monogamous married relationship. You know, I personally don't agree with that. I find that really difficult when there's lots of sexual women I know that do that. Not just one woman, lots of different women. This is why I don't trust women. not just men I don't trust in a particular. I mean, I've got a best asexual guy friend who's amazing. I trust implicitly, but in general, I don't tend to trust people in relationships, and and a lot of the women I know, they're heterosexual women, even the ones that are so kind-hearted and caring, I don't, they're basically had sex with people who are in relationships, and it's like, that's why I don't trust women a lot of time. I'd rather have a guy as a friend over all the women. I have got some, I've got my best female friend, and obviously I've got Heather, who watches this channel a lot. She's a really nice person, and there's other people that I talk to, but in the main it's mostly guys that I'm friends with. It's mostly guys that I talk to, and overall guys are better for me as friends because they tend to tell it like it is. They're very direct, they're very open, and as friends they're very open and honest, and they'll tell it like it is. And I don't know, I try to trust guys as friends more. With women I find them really difficult. I mean, I was bullied when I was younger more by females than males, and I find it really hard, like when I see all the women that are going around having sex with married men or people that are in their relationships. I just thinking, are there many women that are good? I mean, there's one friend I've got, entrepreneur friend, she's amazing, she's very, very faithful person, very loving, very caring. She would not go and have sex with a married man. I know that for sure. There's another entrepreneur friend I haven't seen in ages who lives in London in the UK. She's amazing. She's Indian, actually. She's married to a British guy, and she wouldn't have sex with another guy. She'd never have an affair. So there are some people I know of, but I know a lot of women who are very deceptive, and who are very like, if the guy's there, why not? But there are loads of guys like that as well. And that's what I find hard about the sexualized world. I find it so difficult to trust anyone in relationships, and what's difficult for me as well is in the asexual community, within the asexual community, there's all different types of asexuals, right? Which is beautiful. It's great because we're on this Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. We're celebrating our diversity across the spectrum, our differences within it. But it's also hard when you are trying to find someone for a relationship, because loads of people have got different boundaries. There's quite a lot of polyamorous people in the asexual community, people who will have relationships with multiple people. I'm not that way inclined. I need to find a guy for me who's definitely fiercely monogamous. Ooh, like I am, who is like, no, this is friendship, this is relationship, and who's really clearly defined on that. This is friend, this is relationship, clearly. And some people in the asexual community, they're polyamorous, like I said, which is, it is what it is because they choose to be like that. They like that life, which is fine. I personally am not like that at all. I'm fiercely monogamous, as I've just said, but there are also people in the asexual community that go around being very physically close to their friends, as in sharing beds with them, as in giving them, like cuddling them and stuff like that. And I personally don't agree with that for my own boundaries, and if I was trying to look for a person in a relationship to be in a relationship with me, I don't want someone who's going around cuddling other people, who's going around in bed with other people, and obviously I can't be that type of person, because there are some people, some aromantic asexuals, for example, I know, that are like that. Those who lack romantic attraction, lack sexual attraction, and they can share their bed with their friends and cuddle them and whatever. But personally, I can't be with someone like that. I wouldn't, to me, that's not what you should do in a friendship. That's for a committed relationship, and so I need to very much find a guy like me who's got the exact same boundaries as me, who I know that if he's got female friends, he's not going to be sharing beds with them, he's not going to be cuddling them, he's not going to be kissing them, he's not going to need affection from them. And I think that's another issue as well, is some people crave so much affection that they fail to actually just be monogamous and just want it from that one person. Like there's different ways of expressing affection as well, like you can have friends without them being physically affectionate to you. They can be affectionate as in they care about you, as in the words they use, as in they They message you and ask you if you're all right, as in they care about you, they care what happens to you, they care about your well-being, they can advise you on what's best for you if they really think, you know, you need advice and help and guidance. You know, that is a form of affection that's non-physical. It's like a affection of the heart. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, it's like I always try and put myself in the person's other person's positions. Well, it's like, you know, being in a monogamous relationship is hard. It's not easy for everyone, in the sense that, you know, you have to just commit to that one person. If that person's ultimately committed to you as well, then and you're the right people for each other, then really there shouldn't be too much of a problem. But, you know, you've got to both be exactly the same like that, because if one's more committed than the other, it's going to feel like bad, and there's going to be resentment built up, and it's going to be like a tug of war. It's not going to be good, you know? So I think, as well as living in this highly sexualized world, as well as sometimes being difficult as asexuals, when we, you know, I mean, if we have to be subjected to go, you know, stuff about sex and, you know, highly sexualized TV programs and films. I mean, personally, I switch off to all that because I don't watch films with sex in them usually. I do a lot of reviews on this channel where I watch no sex films, which is good because you'll notice there's quite a few of them that I come out with. So there are quite a lot of no sex films, which is great. I don't watch TV usually unless my parents have got it on when I go over there, which they have it on all the time. They're a bit loving their TV, you know, and I can cut off from a lot of sexualized images. Having said that, when I want to listen to dance music on YouTube, there'll be a picture of a woman with her boobs hanging out with a little bikini on. But I mean, when I have that on, what I do is then I put another screen up, work on my stuff, so I can only hear the music in the background. I'm not looking at the woman, you know, the woman's not in my island, but I have to, you know, in order to like view a lot of dance music on YouTube, play, you know, ongoing playlists, a lot of them have got women, and they're literally just to get the views, you know, like women have got scantily clad tops on. I mean, what is so funny, right, is I looked today at see what my most popular video is recently, and about a week ago I put a video out where I literally, the thumbnail is of my t-shirt saying I aced it, which, you know, is my asexual t-shirt. I sell it on Redbubble, I sell it on Amazon, and it's the first asexual t-shirt I ever bought of my own, right? And then just because it's got my boobs in the t-shirt, I'm not revealing any flesh whatsoever, no skin, nothing. It's got 1,000 views in a week. So it just proves how highly sexualized this world is, that a picture of my boobs in the t-shirt is covered up. You can't even see them naked. There's no nakedness about them whatsoever. I just pointed them on I just pointed the camera on the t-shirt for my t-shirt, right? And 1,000 views already it's got in 1 week. It's like, whoa, I'm in the wrong job. You know, I should be selling pictures of my boobs in t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being me. I'm not even doing anything. Do you know what I mean? I just being myself. And obviously there must be tons of guys that like looking at that. But when I think to myself usually when I think of guys looking at boobs, is they like them naked, right? They love looking at naked breasts, right? Mine are not naked, mine completely covered up, and it got 1,000 views in a week, and that's like been my most popular video, and I'm just laughing. Hi Heather. It's nice to see you. I just think it's so funny. I couldn't do nothing but laugh, to be honest. I'm just like absolutely find it hilarious. I looked at it and like, the most popular video on my asexual channel. I don't like sex, I'm not interested. It's my boobs in a t-shirt. I found that hilarious. You know, like years ago, I probably would have got really upset about it. I probably would have like be really huffy about it or something. But now I just don't care half the time. I just think it's so funny. I just think, you know what I mean? Breasts, exactly. But they can't even see anything. This is what really makes me laugh. It's not like I'm wearing a bikini or swimsuit, or you can even see any of my chest. If you look at that thumbnail, I'm completely covered up. You can't see any of my flesh. And so I thought guys were really just interested predominantly in nude boobs, but evidently they're not. Evidently they like looking at them in t-shirts as well. So I just found the whole thing really funny. You know, I can't do nothing but laugh because the irony of the situation, this is an asexual channel, yet I seem to get the most views for any videos that seem remotely in the sexual context. You know, it's like some of my most watched videos are my reviews of the films I watch, but I think a lot of them are because it says no sex and people look at the word sex and they're like, oh, sex, must come and watch this channel, even though it says the films have got no sex in them. You know, that just proves how highly sexualized the sexual world is that just the mention of the word sex is like, quick, let's listen to this, let's watch it. You know, it's just so like full on, like easy to get people to listen to you if you're highly sexualized, isn't it? And that's the thing they use in marketing a lot as well. They use marketing a lot of the time of sexual parts of the body because it just gets attention. I mean, it just shows how much sex rules sexual people's lives. I mean, do you know what I mean? To me, it's like giving a dog a bone and you're just wangling it. Sounds very rude. A hot plate, yeah. It's just like you're dangling it in front of them, saying, "Oh, here's sex, and they're like lapping it up like a cat licking milk or something. That's a really bad analogy because that's quite a sexual analogy. But do you know what I mean? It's just like they lap it up. It's like, well, it's not difficult to grab someone's attention, isn't it? And I just think, where's the intelligence in that? Where's the intelligence in that I must speak to that person, or I must see that person, or talk to that person because of her brain or because of her personality? Do you know what I mean? It's all about the physicality, you know? And it's just like crazy. It's like, well, I know, you know, like it's not difficult to get attention in this world, but it's like, do you really want that type of attention? But it's like, wow, maybe I should be framing my boobs in t-shirts and just selling them for like £500 or something. If people like them that much, hey, another income stream. But you know what I mean? I just find it hilarious. I just find it hilarious. And the thing is, I know a lot of sexual guys, they do fancy me, you know, they find me hot. Underwear would do with sexual, laugh out loud. Well, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not interested in my underwear. I tell you what though, Heather, one of my most watched videos is me in an eat-all towel. I come out the shower because I actually was when I got my asexual, I aced it, asexualized t-shirt. It's the same t-shirt. And when I first did, I did an unboxing video. And when I did an unboxing video and recorded it, I came out the shower with just a towel around me, which is an eat-all towel, right? Which is not sexual. It's not romantic. Well, it's more romantic than sexual. It's just an eat-all towel, right? So I got a towel around me, but just because on that one, I'm showing a bit of flesh at the top. It's like I'm showing my shoulders and I'm showing my neckline, you know, nothing. I'm not really showing any sexual parts, you know. I don't even think you can see much of my boobs. I think it's literally cut off there, the towel. You know, that's one of the most watched videos, and it's embedded because you can embed YouTube videos on a sex site. And it just makes me laugh. I'm like, really? You think I'm a sex symbol because I wear a towel around me? There's an eat-all towel. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't have to do anything. It's like loads of women. What's really funny is loads of women who are sexual. They get dressed up. They put all these tight dresses on. They show their boobs off. Sometimes there's no dress hardly. It's like it's covering their nipples. I've seen some women in my city and literally it's the dress literally just covers their nipples and all the rest of the boobs are like popping out. You know, you can see everything. They may as well not even bother wearing any dress at all. You know, and there's people like that. There's people that wear thick makeup, women that wear thick makeup. Image sells, laugh out sad, really. Yeah, but this is my point, though. It's like, there's all these women that do all this stuff, right? But I don't do any of that. I wear no makeup a lot of the time. I don't get dressed up for guys. I get dressed up for myself. Yes, some of my t-shirts are a little bit tighter because I actually like, you know, I don't mind looking sexy for myself, but and I like ones that make me look nice in my figure. But I don't get my kit off. I don't like have my boobs flinging out like they do, and I don't do it for guys. Do you know what I mean? I don't like, you know, I'm not doing what they're doing, but it just makes me laugh that guys can still find me very sexually attractive in an eat-all towel or just wearing a t-shirt. I just find it hilarious. And there's all these women that go to all this trouble to sexually attract guys, and I don't have to do anything. They're just sexually attracted to me anyway. It just makes me really laugh. I know one of the people in my old job years ago, she goes, how come you get all the sexual guys? Because the guys I get aren't sexual enough for me. And you get all the sexual ones. What do you do? And it's like, I don't do anything. I don't want sex. That's probably what I do, is I don't want it. And they see me as a challenge all the time. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, she doesn't want it, meaning she really does. And that, I think that's another thing that we get as asexuals. You know, if we say we don't want sex, it's seen as a challenge to sexuals, and it's like, oh, they don't want sex, well, really they must do, you know, let's entice it out of them. And it's like, I've had guys come on my asexualized Facebook page and they think asexual means asexual. A lot of sexual people think asexual means asexual, so they think if they see the word asexual, then it means that the site's full of sexuals, and therefore the site ends up becoming more full of sexuals, you know, because more people go on it. This is happening more and more lately with things like ASAP. And there was a woman who emailed me recently, and she's having a similar problem. Like, she's just coming up against all these sexuals all the time. There was someone in my no sex dating group saying they're on an asexual dating site and it's full of heterosexuals that want sex with them all the time, you know. And I think this is happening more and more and more. And I said that what they don't realize is asexual, they think means asexual, so they think everyone on the site's intersex and they really want it. And that's becoming the huge problem. This is why we really need worldwide education about what the word asexual means, because just people aren't getting it. You know, you'd be better saying zero sexual. Do you know what I mean? Because maybe people would get the word zero sexual as in, I'm not interested in having sex, you know? So calling it asexuality is very difficult for sexuals to comprehend unless they really know what it means and seen the term before. So I think it's very, very difficult, but it just is ironically funny. Whereas I'm not trying to be overtly sexual, and I'm not trying to get sex with guys, and they want it with me. And the people that, like the person I knew at work who wanted sex lots, who liked it, couldn't get it very much because she was getting the guys who weren't as interested in that. And I just thought that was really funny, ironically funny, you know. And I think it is difficult as well, like I was saying, like on my asexualized page, you know. Even recently I had a guy, and you know, he's people ignore asexual. Zero sexual sounds good. Yeah, I know, zero sexual would sound good, you know. I think zero sexual would sound good. Then they would realize that it means don't want sex, zero sex. Do you know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is. I don't know if I can bring out a new term called zero sexual. I don't think it would go down too well, but hey ho. I usually say to people I'm hetero asexual, not heterosexual. This is what I say to sexual guys now, in order for them to get what I'm saying, because a lot of the time they don't understand. Like, I had a guy on my asexualized page, and he was literally I think he friend requested me. They started messaging me. I said, hi, how can I help you? And then he started going, oh, I'm looking for a girlfriend. You know, and I said to him, I'm asexual. I'm not, you know, I'm hetero asexual, not heterosexual. I don't like sex. And then he's writing on my asexualized page on my tag post, does anyone want me? And he's created a Facebook account that's got nearly all women on it, you know, and he's obviously looking for a woman. I mean, at least he was honest and outright. You know, that's what I do like about some guys. They are outrightly telling me what they want. And I'd rather have a guy like that who isn't two-faced. Rather someone say to me, I'm looking for a girlfriend, and me to say, well, thanks, but no thanks, you know what I mean? Rather than these guys that come on and they pretend like they're not interested in you, but you know they're interested in having sex with you, and they just keep it, like, they string it out, you know, like, oh, I'll keep her interested, I won't tell her that I really fancy her, I won't tell her I want sex with her. And it's bloody, you know, it's so obvious, but they just keep you stringing along, and they try and make you go, oh, but I just want friendship. And it's like, no, you don't want friendship. You friended me on Facebook because you want sex with me. There are a lot of people lately on Facebook. I'm glad about Facebook, because Facebook is like putting out the stops now to actually stop more fake profiles, right? Because I've had a few people friend request me lately and even private message me, and Facebook has said this account has been suspended because we think it's spam or it's inappropriate. And then they've said it's been suspended it's been deleted or suspended indefinitely. So they are definitely checking people's accounts now, you know. When new people create new profiles, they're checking out the profile, they're making sure it's not fake anymore, They're clamping down on people that creating fake profiles, because these guys, they create profiles on Facebook. You'll notice their profile is new. It's only been going a few days. They friend request a ton of women. They put them all as friends, and they're messaging them all the time because they want sex with them. I don't know why they do it, though. It's such a waste of time. You know, like, if they're in the country, how can they have sex with all these women with, I don't know, 80, 90, 100 women all around the world? They can't do. Which means then all they can do is talk to them in a sexual manner. I mean, what are these guys doing with their life? Have they got nothing better to do? Obviously not. They are just wasting their life and wasting their time away. If all their life is just texting women sexual stuff, and they're not, you know, players exactly. But it's like, how can they live their life like that? It's how can they waste it away? It's just such a waste of life. There are people that are dead that aren't even in this world. And if they were, they wouldn't be doing rubbish like that. Some of these people that are dead, you know, they deserve to be here still. They deserve to be in life. They deserve to be having a fulfilled life. All these other people, they're just wasting their time going around friending lots of people, women, to try and get sex with them and talk sexually to them. You know, and it's like, why haven't you got anything better to do with your life? Why aren't you changing the world? Why aren't you supporting a charity? Why aren't you doing community work? Why aren't you, you know, learning personal professional development? Why aren't you becoming a better human being? Why are you just sat there literally trying to message people, friend people for sex? You know, and this is what just drives me crazy sometimes if I think about it too much. It's like, why? It's such a waste of life. Yes, I know sexuals like sex. Yes, they can have sex, but why are they just friending like 100 women or more just to have this talk? Because that's not real relationship. That's not a real sexual relationship. That's just a ego boost and their fantasy. Kids are dying in the world. Exactly, Heather. You know, people have taken their last breath. Some people's lives have been cut short tragically. And there's people like that. They're just creating fake profiles. I mean, I bet half of them are married as well. I've had married men message me. They're married to someone, it's on their profile, and then they're messaging and talking sexual to me and talking about, you know, fancying me or trying to strike up a online relationship with me. And I say, go and talk to your wife, you know. And it really annoys me that so many people are so focused on outside of their relationship. They're obviously completely bored with their relationship, and they're bored with their relationship. It's because they are not making an effort to make that relationship exciting anymore. They're not making an effort with their partner to change things for the better. They're not changing themselves. All they're doing is going through the motions. If they're bored, then why aren't they changing the scenery of their partner? Why aren't they taking their partner away for a weekend? Why aren't they having date nights with their partner? Why aren't they, you know, discussing things with their partner? You know, why aren't they trying to make things more exciting in the relationship? You know, why are they just looking at external outside influences and things all the time? You know, I feel so sorry for these people. Like, I have this situation, right, where I occasionally sell a few personal items, you know, and online, and I sold, you know, just to make a bit of extra cash for like spending money. And there was this one guy that he was interested in something I was selling, but then he started asking me about my own business, because he saw my business stuff on Facebook, and he goes, "Oh, I'm interested in this business, and I want some coaching." And I said, "Okay." So he was social media. He said he wanted coaching in, because that's one of my businesses, social media, and to train people in it, especially small businesses and individuals. So anyway, I said, "Oh, that's great." And he was interested in buying this like male aftershave thing, deodorant, or like eau de toilette for guys it was. And anyway, so that's what he said he was interested in. And then this particular eau de toilette, he then changed his mind about, I think the one I had was a female version. He wanted the male version, but a lot of males have female partners they buy their perfume for, right? And so I didn't know that. And anyway, so he changed his mind. Then he started going on about his coaching, but it was like, it was honestly like he wanted to come to my house to have sex, because he's like, "Oh, I'll come over and I'll come over to your place." And I'm like, "No, you don't come in my place. If you want training, we do it outside of my home in a professional setting, and I have to hire a room, and the cost of the room hire will also be, you know, you also have to pay the cost of room hire as well as the one-to-one training that I'm doing with you." And, you know, because they think reality is better on the other side and don't want to put work into it, really. That's why people have affairs, sadly, really. Yeah, it's disgusting, Heather. People do have affairs because they can't face the reality of their actual relationship and do good by it. You know, people would rather live in fictitious fantasy land, but it's not even fantasy land though, is it? It's like reality, but they're going and having sex with someone else. It's like if you're not don't want a monogamous lifelong relationship, don't bother getting into one. If you can't be faithful, don't bother being in a relationship. Forget the whole thing. Just slap a thing across your chest or across your head saying, I only want casual relationships. I mean, there are people who just want casual relationships. Well, I do think it's immature as well, you know. But I was telling you about this guy that was interested in buying something that turned out not to be, and then he started saying about coming to my home. It was really weird. And it was like, he obviously, you know, I think he wanted to come to my home to have sex. I think because he saw my book on my Facebook page, my Asexual Perspectives book, he thought I was into sex or something. That's not what I was talking to him about. I was talking to him about social media. I'm saying, well, I don't even know what social media you need help with. But I think he was not telling me the truth because he was a journalist. And journalists already know about social media. So why did he need to come around? And also he said, oh, it'll only take 15 minutes. And a lot of guys say that about sex. And he was married. This guy was married and had a baby with his wife only last Christmas. And when a guy says, oh, you know, I'll come round for some training and it'll only take like 15 minutes, I mean, he pretty much means sex, doesn't he? But he didn't say that. And he's married. And I'm thinking, how can you even do that? You know, I didn't say I knew he wanted sex. I just said to him, well, the training definitely won't be at my home. You know, it will be outside my home, and you want me to train you. It will be, the charge will be for the you know, the hire of the room as well. This is where I usually do it because we have an art centre in where I live. I can hire that room, or there's other places I can. I used to hire room in the art centre before. And yeah, I mean, it's like, what are these guys up to? You know, you've just had a baby with your wife last year. And the stupid thing was he's foreign. I've got a lot of foreign guys that end up interested in things if I ever sell any personal items, you know. I always get the foreign guys, but they're usually always married. You know, but a lot of them, they just, you know, they just, I think they think because my book says love, you know, this book says sex on it, doesn't it? I think they think I'm into sex because of this book, but, you know, I'm not into sex myself. You know, my next book, Asexual Sex Stories, I probably think I'm even more into sex for that reason. Do you know what I mean? But the book I'm writing now is to help people, to help asexuals who are thinking about trying sex for the first time, or the people that are, you know, like being told by their family they need to have sex because they need to be with a sexual because of their religion or culture. You know, I had a woman, asexual woman, contact me recently, and she was a bit distressed because in her culture, her family want her to marry a sexual guy and have kids, and obviously that means having sex, and she's quite worried about it. So I said, you know, my book's really going to help you, and that's why I'm writing this book. You know, some people are like, oh, why are you writing a sex book when asexuals don't want or like or need sex usually? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, because it seems a bit of a contradiction. And I know that's what people think as well. Some of them don't even say it, but it's a book that's needed. You know, there are people out there that feel that they don't have much of a choice, that feel like, you know, the trap or it might be their, you know, by their religion, by culture, by society, they feel they've got to do that. I mean, obviously in the book, there will be people like myself and others, I'm sure, who will be saying, you know, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to have sex at all. It's not compulsory. But obviously in some cultures and religions, their parents keep telling them they've got to do this because it's part of what they're meant to be doing, you know, and it's part of what's expected of them. Otherwise, they bring shame on their family, and sometimes they become an outcast. Awareness is important. Exactly, Heather. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I love you. You're amazing, you know, and it's really important, you know, it's important that I do get in front of more sexual people, that I do explain to sexuals what asexuality is. It's really important. They're not ignorant to this. And the book will help people who are family, friends, particularly partners of asexuals, where they might be having sex with their asexual partner, or they might want sex with their asexual partner, or they might think about getting into a relationship with an asexual and think I want sex with them, but how's this going to work, you know? Because they can see through the book how asexuals really think and feel about sex. But there's not just, there are some asexuals in the book. Obviously, they're on the more sexual end of the spectrum. In fact, obviously, a lot of asexuals that are coming forward for the book are more the sexual end because, in general, not all of them, but in general, because they're the ones that are more likely to participate in sex if anyone does, but they're not all. I mean, there's an aromantic asexual in there as well. So they're not all like on the sexual end of the spectrum, but there are people in the book that, I said anyone off the asexual spectrum can be in the book, because it's not just about where they feature on the asexual spectrum, it's about their experiences to help other asexuals and to help other people understand asexuals better in terms of how their brain works, how they react to sex, and how it makes them feel. And I think it's so important. Plus, it does give people who are demisexual or more grey asexual a voice. It helps people to understand why they class themselves as on the asexual spectrum in the first place, because it goes into those type of mindsets and the difference between how a heterosexual thinks compared to a grey asexual demisexual is more obvious. There are very big differences, in the way they view sex and the world, so it is good really for demisexual and grey asexual representation, and helping people to understand that part of the asexual spectrum better. I understand it better, and it's good, because it's very, there are some people though that are seem so sexualized that, even on the very end of the asexual spectrum, so it is a spectrum, but I try to I can't make people be in the book. I can only get the people who want to be in the book to be in the book. So if there's people out there that aren't on the sexual end of the asexual spectrum, that are asexual and do want to participate in the asexual sex stories book, then, I'm happy to have them in the book, because I still need more stories, It's very difficult, for the people that have requested, questionnaires and to be in the book. Some of them haven't always replied because they find out that the questionnaire is very asking them very personal questions, and some of them don't feel comfortable about that because they're not on the more sexual end of the spectrum. But the way I phrase the questions is to help asexuals, is to answer the questions about what it feels like, what an asexual to do in preparation for sex, and just to get the stories of what's gone on in these people's lives, the good and the bad situations, and so they know what might crop up for them, and they can avoid some of the pain and heartache that some of the people have had in my book. Some of it is very, it's very heart-wrenching, it's very touching and emotional as well, and you can really feel their pain and also their joy throughout the book. Not every asexual in the book doesn't have good sexual experiences, but some do, some don't, so it's good to see different sides of this, and it's really important for the people that feel that they have to have sex or want to try it, that they get a good understanding of what it feels like for an asexual, and so they know they're not alone. I think when you're asexual and you are thinking about having sex for the first time, you've got all this sexualized world going on around you, that it can feel very confrontational, it can feel very overwhelming and overpowering and overbearing, and and if you think, well, I do want to try it because I'm curious, or my partner wants it and I think I can give it a go, I don't think you should ever have sex just because someone else wants you to. I really don't. And to keep the partner, I did that in the past, it's a big mistake. I never think anything's a mistake in my life per se, but don't think you should have sex to please someone just because to please someone and you don't actually want it yourself. I mean, it's not good. But there are asexuals that will do that, and it's best to be safe than sorry, and it's really good to have this book come out to really give good insight into it, and I think it will help people who aren't asexual to understand asexuals better. Hopefully it will shed some more insight. And why should sexuals talk about sex all the time and have their say all the time throughout the whole of the world, and we never get to have our own say on how it really feels for us? I think that's very, very unfair, very unequal. And we need to have a voice, and this book is turning out to be, I think, a really special book, because it's not focused on sex just for the sake of it. It's focused on what it really feels like, different hard experiences people have gone through, and some joyous ones in relation to sex and being asexual. And it's also, helping asexuals to understand what's coming up for them if they do want to try that. And it is a book I think that a lot of asexuals will be glad to have, if they're going to try it, because being asexual in a highly sexualized world is really difficult. You're constantly bombarded and told by what you must do and what you must fit into, and about it being natural to want the sex, but you don't. Diabetic have a low sex drive. Sad people leave them. Well, my mum's diabetic, but she's been married for 50 years. She's been diabetic for quite a few years now. So I don't think they always have a low sex drive. I don't talk to my parents about sex, but yeah, I still think they have it, but I don't talk to them about their sex life. They wouldn't want me to talk about their sex life. But so I don't think that all people that have diabetes have a low sex drive. I don't know where you got that information from, but I don't think it's completely accurate, because I think like there are people with genuine disabilities. Like I've got a fibromyalgia. There are people, I'm in a fibromyalgia group. There are people in chronic pain that can't have sex because it's too painful for them, and their partner, husband, leaves them. Do you know what I mean? I say husband because it's mostly women who tend to be in these groups, but it could be guys as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think my mum. I don't ask my parents, but I don't think my mum's sex drive has changed because of her diabetes. My parents don't even show affection to each other in front of me, usually, or in public. They're very personal about all that type of thing. But I do think they still have it. Sex, I'm guessing. Because they've said they're definitely not asexual. So there you go. Look it up on the internet. Yeah. But I don't think all diabetes people could have a low sex drive. But I do know diabetics make them diabetes can, I guess, make you live a different life. I mean, my uncle's got diabetes, but he's got other issues, things wrong with him. So yeah. So, but it's sad, yeah, it is sad. I do know certain conditions can give people lower sex drives, and it is sad that people leave them. Nerve damage, fibromyalgia is nerve damage. Well, it's a condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body. That's what fibromyalgia is. It's not nerve damage per se, but it's basically, fibromyalgia is a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body. That's how it works, but I manage it really well. I take no notice of it most of the time. I just ignore it, and I actually am really happy that yeah, I'm happy. How do I put this? I'm grateful for the blessings that fibromyalgia has brought me, but most people won't say that about fibromyalgia. Same with diabetic. Oh right, my mum hasn't got nerve damage. My mum's diabetic. She doesn't have nerve damage. So I don't, my mum's been diabetic for quite a few years, at least 7 years, and she hasn't got nerve damage. And my uncle's not got nerve damage. Mine is a nurse. Have you got diabetes? Have you, Heather? Who's a nurse? Mine is nurse. But 2 people in my family have got diabetes, and neither of them got nerve damage. Neither my mum and my mum's brother. And neither of those have got nerve damage. So I don't think it's true for everyone. And I've known other people that are diabetic as well in my old job, and they haven't got nerve damage. Well, one used to work for me years ago. Oh, your mum is a nurse. Oh, right. Well, that's strange. I mean, yeah. I mean, your nurse, your mum would know, but in the UK, I mean, it doesn't necessarily, like the people I know, like 2 family members, I see my mum regularly, quite regularly. Neither of them got nerve damage. Oh, your mum was a nurse. So in general, people who have diabetes have a lower sex drive. think that's what you mean, isn't it? But yeah, I didn't know that because I wouldn't say the people I know that have got a lower sex drive because of it, but you know, I don't really talk to people about their sex life, but I know my mum's not got nerve damage. She's got other, because of her diabetes, you know, like diabetes has a lot of problems with other things like feet. My mum can't feel her feet and stuff like that. They go numb and things like that. So because that's to do with the circulation of the blood. Yeah. So anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you're liking the content tonight. I think we've had a good discussion tonight, don't you, Heather? Thank you for being on here. It's really good. Yeah, I think it's been really good to talk about what it's like to be in a highly sexualized world as an asexual person. I think it's really important, you know, because it is tough. But I personally think if you just live in your own little world is fine, you know. Go out into the real world, but you don't have to pay attention to all this stuff. You know, I don't pay attention to a lot of the stuff. I just cut it out. I just don't take no notice of people a lot of the time. I mean, obviously, if someone's boobs are in my face and they've hardly got anything on there, they're hardly dressed and I'm walking one way and the woman's walking up this way, it's a bit hard to not see that. And I just think that's disgusting. Oh, why even wear anything? But I'm kind of glad they do wear something. Thanks, Heather. Good night. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks very much for tuning in. It's been brilliant. If anyone else is watching and they are just tuning into this channel, please subscribe below. Please hit that bell icon so get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I'd really appreciate that. And take care, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks so much, Heather. Thanks for being my friend. You're amazing. Heather's very creative, by the way. She does amazing artwork. So yeah, she's a star. And she's always supporting this channel. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Bye. See you on the next video, live stream.